Hello and welcome to my channel and my Sony FX6 series. We're kicking off the series by unboxing the Sony FX6 and I'm going to show you exactly what comes inside of the box. Now, unboxing a new camera is always exciting, but it's not all about the excitement, it's also about what you can actually expect when putting down your hard-earned cash on such a camera such as this. So let's just put this box away for a moment and let's see what came in the top box. So first off, we're just starting off with a few cables. This is USB to USB-C, and here we have a cold shoe adapter, and I'm guessing that goes in the back of the camera. I will show you a little bit later. And furthermore, this camera was purchased in Norway, so this comes with the Norwegian standard and also somewhat of the European standard. This plug will always be the same. Well, this is different, so if you're in the UK and the US, this plug is going to be different. And here we can see we have, I'm guessing this is the handle for the camera. That's the handle for the camera, which is going on the side of the camera. There we can see there's a little jack contact pin. So that was basically what came on the top. And let's just put this box back up and see what else we get. Furthermore, okay, so here we have the charger, or I'm not sure if this is the power adapter or the charger. It will be very exciting to see if Sony has actually decided to include a charger with this camera. Furthermore, we get a battery. This is the BPU35. This is quite similar to the batteries that came with the EX1R, EX1, EX3 series, as you can see. This is, I'm guessing this is a bit more, this is rated at 2320 milliamperes. So let's just put that aside. And I'm guessing this is the icing on the cake. This is the camera itself, and this is very exciting because I've heard a lot about the Sony FX6 and I read a lot about it online, and this is going to be very exciting. Wow, look at that. Look how small this is. I can already tell that this is one perfect documentary camera, but you can also build it out to be a bigger and more proper, so to speak, cinema camera. You have all the advantages here, and we can see right on the top we have several 8 in fact 1/4-inch screws for attaching your top plates or your top handle or whatever kind of accessories you need. And in the back we have 2 more holes, and I'm guessing this is for mounting the LCD monitor in whatever position we want to. But look at this, look how small it is. And as opposed to the Canon C70, we can see here on the bottom, this is very important. On the bottom here we have a 1/4-inch and a 3-inch 3/8 holes for mounting your tripod plate. As a documentary shooter, and also I've been traveling a lot, and what always comes loose is the tripod plate. So having 2 points of contact, that is very, very important. Then you can really tighten down whatever accessory or tripod plate you want to choose on the bottom. So it's great to see that Sony has done this as opposed to the Canon C70, where it's sideways, and I really don't get why Canon did that. So to remedy that, you will have to use a cage with a Canon C70. Sony has a little bit of a different thinking, so they have actually included and done that. That's very nice to see, and it's always fun to just, you know, look at a new camera for the first time. We can see on the side here we have all the buttons laid out. You have your variable NDs. You have your menu buttons, and you have what I really loved about the Panasonic EVA1. We have physical buttons, or this little knobs. This is what actually came with the older ENG cameras, where you can set your gain settings and also your white balance presets settings. And I'm guessing here this is the on-off button. Furthermore, if we dive a little bit deeper, we can open this hatch, and here you can see our audio level controls. Now, I'm not a huge fan of having these on the side. I actually prefer having them in the back because it's easier to adjust your levels on the fly if you need to when you're a documentary shooter or shooting on your own. And then it's easier than having to look if you're doing like an interview and you notice your audio is getting a little hot. Then I always prefer having it on the back because it's easier, you don't wobble around the camera. Here you will have to let go of your image to adjust this here. It's not a big deal, but for me, I would have preferred to have this on the back. But you know, it's a design. Sony have chosen to go with this, and I'm guessing every camera you have to get used to, but it's really nice as opposed to a lot of you know, mirrorless cameras where you have to dive into menus and stuff. We can just go straight to the buttons. I really enjoy this. So we're just going to put this camera down for the time being, and we're going to explore further what's inside of the box. And I'm guessing, not sure, but I'm guessing this is the LCD monitor. Yes, it is. This is the monitor that comes with the Sony FX6, and a really interesting fact when we're looking at this plug. Now, I'm not saying that it is, but it is quite interesting because this looks really similar to the Panasonic EVA 1 camera. So let's just put that aside. Here we can see here this is quite a big box. I see what it includes. This is probably the top handle. Let's just put this out of the way. So this is the handle for the Sony FX6, and this has received a little bit of a criticism, not because it is a handle, because it actually feels I think it feels quite nice in the hand, but I think the biggest gripe people is having with the Sony FX6 is the lack of inbuilt XLR ports on the camera itself. And as we can see here on the side, both of the XLR inputs are built into the handle, and that means you cannot attach XLR equipment to the body itself. Now that is a little bit of a letdown. If you have a favorite handle, or if you want to attach a monitor to the handle, I know a lot of filmmakers like that, to have it attached in front of the handle. And the way this works is on the bottom here, you have some electrical points, and they correspond with, on the top here, there is another electrical contact on the camera, and this transfers the signals back and forth. But besides that, we can see we have three holes for mounting different accessories. We have a fourth in the back, and on each side of the handle will be able to mount the monitor as well, and obviously in the front here. So that makes it actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways we can attach this monitor to the camera, and that is quite nice that Sony has given us this option. And with all these mounting points on both the handle and the camera itself, well, I don't really see at this point a need for a top plate, which a lot of filmmakers obviously attach to their cameras. But it depends. It depends on the style you're after, the form factor you are, whatever you like to shoot with, and you can build up and rig this camera up and down the way you want it to see it to suit your needs. So I think it's quite a interesting move by Sony that they have actually done this. And moving on further on, we can see here that we have a small handle here for power zooms, and this will especially be true for the Sony 28-135 lens. Now that's a wonderful lens. I've used it before on my Sony A7S III camera, and I'm going to use it on this body as well, and that gives me the ENG kind of way of shooting, and it also should be a wonderful documentary setup. And also here we have a start-stop button for obviously for record, and we can hear it's a little joystick button, and I'm guessing this is for navigating through the menus. And furthermore, we have two buttons where we can assign whatever we want to. So let's just put this down over here. So let's see what else comes in this box. And this, I'm actually not sure what this is, but let's open it up and see. There are two different boxes, and they're wrapped in bubbly plastic. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting choice by Sony. This is the battery dock. But obviously what I don't like is that what Sony has done is to have supplied this huge power adapter, and this will go plug in like this, and then you will plug in your power like this. So that makes it quite you know, for charging a battery, this is a bit overkill. I would have preferred that Sony had supplied what they used to in the past. I think it's called the BCU1. It's a charger and a power adapter all in one, which was a lot more compact. Obviously carrying this around in your bag, you know, it just adds bulk. I'm happy to see that Sony did include a battery charger and power adapter for the camera. I mean, everything else is stripped down by manufacturers these days, so it's quite nice to see that Sony has actually supplied this, and I'm guessing this will probably just be here in my office, and I will buy a separate battery charger for it. I'm guessing the last piece is this. Okay, so here we go. This is kind of the same design as Panasonic has on their EVA1 camera. And what you do is you attach this to the LCD screen, and when it's not in use, you can close it down like this. Now it's quite nice to protect the screen itself. It will be, however, very interesting to see if this will be enough to prevent sun glare from hitting the screen when you're outside shooting. Not so sure about this design, but I have to give it to Sony. At least they are supplying it as well. One thing I do notice is, as I've said before, is that this design and this contact pin is very similar to the pin that's found on the Panasonic EVA1, and also the design of the screen itself. So I'm guessing they have borrowed, or at least watched, Panasonic's design. I'm hoping this is higher quality than the Panasonic LCD screen, which some of you may have seen that video I did before, where I criticized that screen because that screen was absolutely awful. I really don't know what Panasonic was thinking at the time of making that LCD screen. And let's see if there is something else In here we have our manuals. I'm guessing, I'm not sure what these manuals actually include because a lot of stuff can be found online these days. But let's just have a quick browse through and see what this is. Okay, so this is 1 year extended warranty for your camera. That's nice to see. You have to go online and it ends on the 31st of January 2024, so there's still time to do this. Here is a little promotion leaflet. Save £100 on your next Sony lens purchase when you register your Alpha camera. So this means when you register your camera online, Sony will give you £100 off whatever lens you choose, and that's really nice. It's really nice by Sony to do this. Obviously they do want to sell their own lenses, so I mean, I'm guessing that's why they do it, but anyway, it's an option. This is just a document with various contact information, whichever European country you are in. In the US, I'm not sure, but at least this comes supplied with the European version. And here we have, just gonna put this aside. This is this is just a small brieflet for Sony's own software. You have your Catalyst Browse, your Catalyst Prepare, and your Catalyst Edit, which means actually Sony is supplying their own software for their cameras, and that makes you sure that the files and metadata you are recording on the camera will work in all these 3 programs. I have used Catalyst Browse. It's, I mean, it's okay for offloading your files to your computer safely. You can see, you can choose your location, and you can offload your images via this browser, and also see directly inside of the browser your images with metadata applied. Your Catalyst Prepare, well, it's a bit of a it's a little bit of a mess on the market right now with all these various codecs and that manufacturers. I mean, Canon has their own, and Panasonic has their own, and Nikon and Fuji and Sony, and in between we have this codec called ProRes. Now ProRes is a wonderful codec to work with. I work with that a lot. It's quite easy for the on the system. Somebody is saying it's an older codec. Yes, it is, but it's still very efficient, and it still works flawlessly and brilliantly. So I mean, why not? And Catalyst Prepare gives you the option to transcode your files into ProRes if you want to. And Catalyst Edit is obviously, you know, for editing your program. I'm guessing these 3 programs combined are replacing the older Sony Vegas system. Now, regarding software, I mean, there are a lot of options on the market. You have Premiere Pro, you have Final Cut, and you have DaVinci Resolve. Personally, I use Final Cut for faster turnaround projects. I think it's really fast to work with, and I'm using Resolve if I want to do some more heavy color grading and stuff like that, and stuff like that. But I've never had any issues with either Final Cut or Resolve working with Sony files. Sony's file system is really nice, and it's a very, very efficient and very new codec. So I mean, there's no reason if your computer is up to it to transcode to ProRes. But there are some machines that like ProRes better than all the codecs on the market, and also if you are editing with different camera systems, it can be an advantage of transcoding all your files to one standard file system. It just makes it easier on your whole system as a whole, and on your hard drives and stuff. But anyway, you can check it out at sony.com/catalyst and check out to see if any of this software is interesting for you. And if you find that these are a better option, then I say go for it. I mean, this is obviously Sony's own software, and Sony is doing a lot of wonderful stuff. So yeah, well anyway, let's put this aside. And here we just have our manuals, our warranty system, and also register your new product today. Important, you know, for warranty reasons. And it's also nice for once to see that they are supplying a, you know, I'm a bit of an old school, so I don't mind reading, you know, actually paper editions of manuals. I think it's nice they include it. And this is in English, it's in French, Spanish, and German, Italian. It's actually in Norwegian as well. That's thank you, Sony, because Norwegian is you know, that's a very small language on the global stage. So thank you very much. Okay, so these are the items that come with your Sony as a whole, and I hope this has given you an overview of what comes with the camera when you purchase this, and perhaps gives you some ideas on how to you know, if there are other accessories you would like to purchase. Obviously I'm going to purchase a microphone, and I am going to purchase more batteries, and also a battery charger, because I found this to be very a bit bulky, as I said, and it's quite heavy as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight, and in my next video I will piece it all together and see and show you what it looks like when it's set up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.